The darkened hub is almost silent at midnight, except for the rhythmic typing clicks of a dispatcher's fingers against the keyboard keys. The real danger is not only inside the house on the other end of the line. It is the moment her own voice almost breaks before the caller does. Most people think composure is something you either have or you don't. But pressure does not ask for your personality. It asks for your command. A woman is whispering from a closet. Footsteps move somewhere beyond a closed door. The dispatcher feels her throat tighten, feels the room shrink around the glow of the monitors, feels the human urge to react like any other person would. But she cannot become the panic she is hearing. So what does Fudoshin mean when someone else's fear enters your ear and tries to take over your body? A dispatcher is trained to hear fear without becoming it. That sounds simple until midnight puts a human voice into your headset. The darkened hub has its own kind of weather. The ceiling lights are dimmed. The monitors cast pale rectangles across tired faces. Somewhere behind her, another dispatcher is speaking in a low, even tone. A paper cup sits near the edge of the desk, untouched. The air has that late shift stillness, the kind that makes every sound feel sharper than it should. Then the call opens. Not with a scream. That would almost be easier. It opens with a whisper. A woman is inside her own home, and her home no longer feels like hers. She is trying not to breathe too loud. She says someone is inside. She does not know where. She does not know if the bedroom door will hold. She does not know if the footsteps she heard were moving away or coming closer. On the dispatcher screen, the cursor waits. Her fingers move to the keyboard keys. Click, click, click. Address, name, units, details, location inside the house, possible entry point, children in the home, doors locked, where the caller is hiding, what she can hear right now. The dispatcher's job is not to feel nothing. That is a lie people tell about high-pressure work because they do not want to imagine what it costs. Her job is to feel the fear entering through one ear, register it, contain it, and still give the next clean sentence. But the body does not always respect the job title. Her throat tightens before she wants it to. Her mouth goes dry. Her shoulders begin to rise toward her ears. The caller whispers, "I think he's outside the room," and for half a second the dispatcher is not in the hub anymore. She is in a hallway she has never seen. She is imagining a doorknob. She is imagining the silence before something happens. That half second is the battlefield. Not the whole call. Not the whole career. Not the uniform, the headset, the training manuals, the years of experience. Just that half second when the mind wants to leave its post and run into the caller's terror. That is where professional composure is most fragile. The dispatcher has answered hard calls before. She has heard parents, teenagers, elderly men, drunk strangers, panicked neighbors, people who could not form a sentence because their fear came out in fragments. She knows the rhythm of emergency. She knows what information matters. She knows the difference between sounding calm and being useful. But knowing does not erase the human nerve underneath. Earlier that night, before the call, she had rubbed the edge of the spacebar with her thumb until the plastic felt slightly warm. A habit she barely noticed. A small pressure valve. She had told a coworker she was fine. She had said it too quickly. There was a missed text from her brother on her phone, face down beside the coffee cup, and she had not answered it because she did not want to bring the outside world into the shift. Now the outside world has arrived anyway, through a stranger's whisper. This is the pressure most people never see. The public hears the calm voice and thinks calm is the absence of fear. They hear the steady question, the clear instruction, the measured pause, and they imagine someone built differently from the rest of us. But the dispatcher is not made of stone. Her pulse moves. Her stomach tightens. Her mind produces images she did not ask for. Her empathy reaches toward the caller so fast that it almost pulls her out of command. And if she loses professional composure, the caller may lose the one stable thing left in the room. That is the burden of this archetype. The dispatcher is not at the scene. She cannot put her body between the caller and the danger. She cannot see the hallway, cannot check the window, cannot judge the distance of the footsteps with her own eyes. She has only voice, questions, timing, typing, and the ability to remain internally organized while another person is becoming externally trapped. A firefighter has hands on a hose. A surgeon has hands on instruments. A police officer has hands on the wheel, the radio, the door. The dispatcher has the keyboard keys. Click, click, click. Each click is a small transfer of fear into order. Each line entered on the screen turns chaos into something another person can move toward. The caller gives pieces. The dispatcher builds a map out of broken sound. But the shadow keeps pressing. Losing professional composure does not always look dramatic. It can begin as rushing. A question asked too fast. A sentence crowded with anxiety. A tone that lifts at the wrong moment. A pause filled with the dispatcher's own fear instead of the caller's need. It can be the desire to comfort too much and gather too little. It can be the desire to sound powerful when what the moment actually requires is precision. In high stakes, the ego does not always shout. Sometimes it tries to become the hero. The dispatcher feels that impulse too. The urge to say something big. Something emotional. Something that releases her own tension. But the caller does not need a speech. The caller needs a voice that can hold the line without stealing the moment. So the dispatcher lowers her shoulders. She looks at the screen. She listens to the caller's breathing, not as panic, but as information. Too fast means fear is taking more oxygen than the body can spare. Too quiet means the caller may be hiding, measuring every sound. The dispatcher's voice must land between those two realities. Firm enough to guide. Soft enough not to push the caller into more fear. Stay with me, she says. Not loudly. Not theatrically. Just enough for the words to become a rail the caller can hold. That is Fudoshin in modern life. It is not a mystical calm. It is not a cold face. It is not pretending the room is peaceful when it is not. Fudoshin is the refusal to hand command over to the first wave of emotion. Fear can enter. Fear can be heard. Fear can tighten the throat and make the fingers hesitate over the keyboard keys. But fear does not get to write the next line. The dispatcher's training is not separate from her humanity. It is the structure that protects her humanity from spilling into the wrong place. Without feeling, she would become mechanical. Without command, she would become part of the emergency. The discipline lives between those failures. The caller whispers again. A small sound in the background makes her stop mid-sentence. The dispatcher does not fill the silence too quickly. She lets one beat pass. Then another. Her own breath tries to climb. She brings it down before she speaks. What can you hear now? A clean question. A useful question. The caller answers in pieces. The dispatcher types. Click. 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 Around her, the hub remains dark. The monitors glow. The headset presses lightly against her ear. The call timer moves forward without mercy. Every second feels like it wants to become too large to carry. But the disciplined mind shrinks the moment down to what can be done. Confirm. Listen. Type. Relay. Reassure without trembling. Pause without freezing. Speak without leaking fear into the line. A weaker response would be understandable. That is the uncomfortable truth. Anyone with a pulse could be shaken by that call. Anyone could imagine the house, the door, the person hiding in the dark. Anyone could let their voice crack and still be human. But samurai discipline is not asking whether the dispatcher is human. It is asking whether she can remain trustworthy while being human. That is a harder standard. A cleaner one. And it is the only one that matters inside the darkened hub at midnight, when the keyboard keys keep clicking and a stranger on the other end of the line is borrowing her nervous system for just long enough to survive the next minute. Training begins before her voice feels steady. It begins while her throat is still tight, while the caller is whispering too fast, while the dispatcher's fingers hover over the keyboard keys and the darkened hub seems to lean closer to the headset. The first movement is not heroic. She drops her shoulders. Only an inch. Maybe less. But inside a high-stakes moment, an inch can be the difference between being dragged by the call and returning to the seat she actually occupies. Her body wants to climb into panic. Her shoulders want to protect her neck. Her jaw wants to lock. Her chest wants to shorten the breath until every sentence comes out strained. So she gives the body a command it can obey. Shoulders down. Feet flat. Eyes on the screen. The caller is still in danger. The house is still unknown. Units are still moving through the night toward an address that must be correct. Nothing outside has become easier. But the dispatcher has stopped feeding the emergency with her own physical reaction. That is the first layer of Shugyo inside Fudoshin. Stop the first spill. Not stop the fear. She cannot do that on command, and pretending she can would only waste more time. She stops the spill of fear into her voice, her hands, her pace, her questions. She notices the tremor before it becomes a tone. She notices the rush before it becomes a bad instruction. She notices the image of the hallway before it steals the facts from the call. Her thumb touches the edge of the spacebar again. The keyboard keys are no longer just tools. They become the boundary between what she feels and what she must do. Click. The caller's address goes in clean. Click. The location inside the house. Click. The sound the caller heard. Each keystroke pulls the situation out of the fog and places it where responders can use it. The dispatcher does not need to win the whole night. She needs to enter the next true piece of information. That is how command is rebuilt under pressure. One exact action at a time. Her mind tries to run ahead. It tries to imagine the closet door opening. It tries to imagine the caller freezing. It tries to imagine the headline, the recording, the review after the shift, the question nobody wants to ask. Did I miss something? Did my voice make it worse? That question could swallow the call. So she names it without saying it out loud. I am afraid of losing composure. Not I am failing. Not I can't handle this. Not something terrible is about to happen because I feel fear. Just the clean name of the shadow. Losing professional composure. Once named, it becomes smaller. Not harmless. Smaller. Small enough to place beside the keyboard instead of letting it sit in the chair. The caller whispers, I don't know what to do. The dispatcher lets one breath pass through her nose before she answers. Quiet, almost invisible. No dramatic inhale. No performance of calm. Just enough air to keep her next sentence from carrying the shape of her own fear. Stay where you are. Keep your voice low. I'm here with you. The words are plain because plain words survive pressure. People under terror cannot carry complicated language. A frightened mind does not need poetry. It needs a rail, a handle, a next step it can understand without climbing over panic to reach it. The dispatcher keeps her voice low and level. Not flat. Flat would feel abandoned. Too warm, and the line could become emotional quicksand. Too sharp, and the caller might feel pushed. She has to find the narrow human middle, present, firm, alive, controlled. Her fingers return to the keys. The rhythm matters now. Click, click, click. Not frantic. Not lazy. Rhythmic. The same sound that could have exposed her anxiety becomes a metronome for command. The keys tell her hands what the mind must remember. Sequence matters. Details matter. The next question matters more than the imagined outcome. What room are you in? The caller answers. Is the door locked? A pause. Yes. Can you move anything in front of it without making noise? Another pause. The dispatcher listens to the silence instead of attacking it. Silence on a call like this can make an untrained mind panic. The impulse is to fill it, to keep talking, to prove you are doing something. But some silences are information. Some silences are the caller moving carefully. Some silences are the house itself. So the dispatcher waits. Her left hand presses lightly against the desk. The surface is cool under her palm. That small contact keeps her from floating into the scene she cannot see. She is not in the house. She is in the hub. Midnight. Monitors. Headset. Keyboard keys. Caller on the line. Officers en route. She separates the real from the imagined. Real, the caller is hiding. Real, the address is entered. Real, help is moving. Real, her voice is the caller's nearest structure. Imagined, every possible ending. She cannot serve all possible endings. She can serve the next 30 seconds. That is the discipline most people avoid because it feels too small. They want a total solution when the nervous system is burning. They want certainty before action. They want to feel composed before they behave with composure. But Fudoshin does not wait for the body to approve. The dispatcher builds a ritual inside the pressure. Hear the caller. Lower the shoulders. Check the screen. Ask one clean question. Type the answer exactly. Relay what matters. Return to the voice. She does not announce that ritual. She does not think of it as noble. It is simply the path back when fear tries to scatter her attention. Again and again, the caller's panic rises, and again, the dispatcher returns to the same small gate. Voice. Keys. Breath. Screen. Next question. The caller says she heard something downstairs. The dispatcher feels the old surge come back. It rises fast, almost disrespectfully fast, as if all her training were just paper in a storm. Her hand pauses over the keys. There it is again. The shadow. The fear that one crack in her tone could become the crack in the caller's courage. She does not shame herself for it. Shame would only make her smaller at the exact moment someone else needs her full size. She lets the fear be present without giving it the microphone. Her next sentence comes out measured. Do not go check. Stay hidden. Keep listening to me. The instruction is not dramatic, and that is why it works. A calm command has no need to decorate itself. The dispatcher types the update. The keys answer in their steady rhythm. Click, click, click. The sound is almost cold, almost mechanical, but under her hands it becomes human. It is the sound of fear being translated into direction. Outside the hub, police units move through dark streets. Inside the hub, the dispatcher cannot control their speed, the layout of the house, the choices of the intruder, or the caller's trembling breath. Control was never the assignment. Command is different. Control tries to own the whole event. Command takes responsibility for the next right action within reach. So she keeps the call narrow. Not the whole life of the caller. Not the whole danger of the world. Not every emergency she has ever answered. Just this voice. This screen. This line. This midnight. These keyboard keys. And with every return, something in her becomes less breakable. Not because the fear leaves. It does not. Because the fear learns it will not be obeyed first. The dispatcher's composure is no longer a mask she is trying to hold in place. It is a practice moving through her body in small, repeatable acts. Her shoulders lower. Her breath settles enough. Her fingers type what is true. Her voice gives the caller something stable to borrow. That is Shugyo in the darkened hub. No mountain. No monastery. No audience. Only a woman at a console, refusing to let her own nervous system become the loudest thing on the line. The call does not suddenly become quiet. That is important. The woman is still hiding. The house is still dark. The dispatcher still cannot see the hallway, the doorframe, the stairwell, or the shadow moving somewhere beyond the caller's voice. The units are closer now, but not close enough for the dispatcher to stop working. The line is still alive, and as long as it is alive, every second has weight. Outside, the emergency keeps its teeth. Inside the darkened hub, something has changed. Not the situation. Her relationship to it. The dispatcher no longer fights the fear as if fear were the enemy. She lets it stand in the room, but not at the console. It can tighten her stomach. It can send one sharp pulse through her hands. It can put the image of that house in her mind for a second before she brings herself back. But it no longer reaches for the keyboard first. Her fingers move with a steadier rhythm now. Click, click, click. Earlier, those keys were almost a leak. Every keystroke could have carried her panic, her urgency, her need to get ahead of the moment. Now the keys have become a disciplined boundary. They remind her that her job is not to feel the right emotion. Her job is to convert the caller's fear into usable order. She hears the caller swallow hard. I think I hear them again. The dispatcher does not rush into the space. She gives the words room to land. Her eyes move across the screen. Address confirmed, officers updated, caller location, interior room, door locked, voice low. The call timer keeps moving. Midnight has not softened. The hub is still dim, with the pale wash of monitors over tired faces. She presses two fingers lightly against the home row keys. A small reset. No one watching from the outside would notice it. No one would call it bravery. It would not appear in a report. But the body knows when it has been given a point of return. Tell me only what you can hear right now, she says. The caller breathes once, shaky. Footsteps. Maybe near the kitchen. The dispatcher types the update. The sound of the keys moves through the headset line in tiny bursts, almost hidden under the caller's breathing. The clicks are no longer cold. They are proof that someone is still building structure out of the dark. A less disciplined version of this moment would try to pull certainty out of the caller. Are you sure? How close? What exactly? Think. Listen. Tell me. But a terrified person can only hold so much weight. Push too hard, and the caller may break into motion. Push too little, and critical information may disappear. So the dispatcher stays in the narrow lane. Useful pressure. No extra fear. Stay where you are. Keep the phone close. Do not open the door. Her voice does not sound fearless. It sounds occupied. Fully occupied by the task. There is warmth in it, but no spill. There is urgency, but no tremble. She has found the place where compassion can work without becoming panic. That is the transformation. Not a woman becoming unaffected. A woman becoming reliable while affected. The shadow is still there. Losing professional composure is still possible. It waits in the next unexpected sound, the next crack in the caller's whisper, the next update that does not come fast enough. The dispatcher knows that one calm minute does not guarantee the next one. She has worked too many nights to believe in permanent victories. So she does not celebrate early. She returns. Again. Keyboard. Screen. Caller. Breath. Next sentence. The home invasion call narrows into a series of human crossings. The caller crosses from panic into one more instruction. The officers cross another block. The dispatcher crosses another surge inside herself without letting it enter the line. None of it feels cinematic to the people living it. It feels like work. Hard, exact, unseen work. Then the caller hears something different. A sound outside. A vehicle. Maybe two. The dispatcher checks the update. Units are arriving near the residence. A fresh wave moves through her chest. Relief wants to rush her voice now. Relief can be dangerous too. Relief can loosen discipline before the moment is actually safe. It can make a person say too much, promise too much, soften the edge too early. So she holds it. Help is close, she says. Keep your voice low. Stay with me until I tell you otherwise. The caller begins to cry, but quietly, as if even crying has to obey the room. The dispatcher does not tell her not to cry. She does not demand calm from someone hiding in fear. Calm is not the caller's duty in the same way. The caller's duty is to stay hidden, keep listening, survive the next instruction. The dispatcher's duty is to remain the voice that does not add chaos to chaos. This is where Fudoshin becomes painfully practical. It is not about a perfect inner world. It is about not letting an imperfect inner world damage the person depending on you. The dispatcher hears radio traffic in her other ear. The officers are near. The situation is moving from the invisible world of the phone line toward the physical world of doors, rooms, corners, and commands. Still, the dispatcher stays with the caller. She does not mentally leave because help is near. She does not emotionally collapse because the worst might be passing. Her fingers rest on the keyboard keys, ready. Earlier in the night, she had touched the spacebar like a pressure valve, almost without knowing. Now the keys feel different under her hands. They are not where her anxiety escapes. They are where her attention returns. Plastic, worn smooth by long shifts, ordinary under fluorescent light, and somehow enough. Enough to remind her, remain here. The caller whispers, are they here? The dispatcher checks before answering. She does not feed hope faster than facts can carry it. They are outside. Keep following my voice. That sentence holds the entire discipline of the call. Not comfort as performance. Not control over things beyond her reach. Just truth delivered in a tone steady enough for someone else to stand on. For a moment, the dispatcher notices the room again. The darkened hub. The low voices. The faint hum of equipment. The rhythmic typing from another station. Midnight still sitting over everything. She is not outside the emergency. She is inside her part of it, and she is no longer being pulled apart by the distance between caring and staying composed. That distance is where many people lose themselves. They think caring means absorbing the other person's fear until both people are drowning. Or they think composure means closing the heart, becoming unreachable. The dispatcher has no use for either failure. On this call, care has to become form. It has to become timing, wording, breath, data, restraint. The line continues. The danger has not fully ended. The caller is not suddenly healed from what happened. The dispatcher will not finish the shift untouched. Later, she may sit in her car longer than usual before driving home. She may look at her brother's missed text and feel the weight of the ordinary world returning. She may hear the typing clicks in her head after the headset comes off. But right now, she is here. And here is enough. Her voice stays low. Her fingers stay near the keys. When the caller trembles, the dispatcher does not tremble back. When the room inside the caller's house feels uncontrollable, the dispatcher does not pretend to control it. She gives what command can give: clear words, clean sequence, a presence that does not abandon its post. The keyboard clicks again. Not frantic now. Not mechanical. Almost like a pulse under discipline. A call like this does not make someone invincible. It reveals whether their training can hold when their humanity is awake. The dispatcher is still afraid. She is still tired. She is still a person in a darkened hub at midnight, listening to another person's worst night through a thin line of sound. But the next sentence belongs to her. That is the voice of Fudoshin. Fear may enter the line, but it does not get to speak first. Most of us will never sit in a darkened dispatch hub at midnight with a home invasion call in our headset. But we all know what it feels like when someone else's fear enters the room and tries to take over our body. It happens in a tense office meeting when one person's panic becomes the temperature of the whole table. It happens in a family crisis, when your voice is the only steady thing a younger person can borrow. It happens late at night, staring at a message you do not want to answer, feeling your composure crack before you have even typed the first word. Your battlefield may not have radio traffic or glowing monitors. It may only have a phone in your hand, a kitchen table, a locked jaw, a sentence you must say without letting fear write it for you. So return to the keys. Not literal keys, maybe, but something ordinary enough to hold your attention. The edge of the desk, your feet on the floor, one breath before the next sentence, one clean instruction instead of a spill of emotion. The dispatcher does not become calm because the world becomes safe. She becomes useful because she stops asking fear for permission to lead. And that is the quiet standard. When pressure rises, do not worship panic. Do not shame yourself for feeling it. Put your hands back where the work is. If this voice matters to you, stay with samurai discipline. Because a disciplined person is not someone who never feels fear. It is someone who refuses to let fear take command.